Well, hello there. If you would like to support this, honestly, clusterfuck of morons who have no idea what they're doing, you can head on over to patreon.com/GamesTechMM, where you can show a little bit of love and support. After all, we couldn't do it without you. Thanks, you guys. Anyways, enjoy.
I think it's 100% okay to kink shame people.
And that's what we're going to start with, ladies and gentlemen. I always get it. Welcome to the show, you guys. This is Free Ballin', basically a show where we talk about whatever the fuck we want. We're free balling, as it were to say. I literally have no pants on. My scrotum is touching this chair right now. The scrotum of Enzo,
I thought you were going to say
host.
the floor.
Jesus Christ, how big do you think my dick is?
No, I just meant because you're old.
To segue, joining me today, your co-host with the most, BDB, Bruno. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I tag him in everything. Find him and send him your dick pics.
Or please don't.
If you're 18 years or older.
Not even an option.
Must be 18 years or older to participate in this event.
Don't participate in it. You can't. You're not allowed to. Don't.
Dude, I went raids of people. Like I'm talking about like
raids, World of Warcraft.
Like World of Warcraft raids. Just raids of people attacking your DMs at the same time.
I don't want this.
They're like,
I didn't ask for this.
It's 4 a.m.
Don't do this.
This is his lowest time. Let's hit him now. And it just wake up to...
I'll just close my DMs. No one will send me anything.
You're not going to close your DMs.
I know. Yeah, I'm not going to
close your DMs.
But I could.
Once dick pic number 100 comes through, I think you might close your DMs. Because, FYI, I got some reader mail the other day that said, if it couldn't be traced back to them, they thought about DMing you their dick.
We'll have to talk about who said that later because I need to try to find a way to confront this person and say, no, I don't want this. I never have. It's like Jon Snow in season 8. I don't want it.
Who has a more interesting story than Bruno the Big Dicked?
Just send your shit to someone else. I don't want that. Why do you think
good.
I came all this way? No. I don't want it.
No.
I'm a Jon Snow.
Huh.
I don't want it. Never
All
have.
Right. Basically, the point of this podcast is we each bring two or three things that we want to talk about, that we want to get off our chest. Free balling is very much meant to spiritually what is it called? Uplift. We're taking off the loads that we've taken. A gangbang of loads, as
we've already set up.
Yeah. I don't know if we still have that clip.
Oh. Well, that's a new unit of measurement.
Gangbang is a
gangbang.
Yeah, a gangbang of.
Yeah.
Well, we take this load off of our chest.
Use that in math class.
In a figurative way.
Yes.
Bruno.
Yes.
What is the first thing you want to talk about today?
So the first thing that I want to talk about is, so I'll just go into it and then I'll get to my point. So you know how, throughout life you have dreams and sometimes you have a lot of the same dreams, they're reoccurring and they don't necessarily always mean something entirely, but each dream kind of has a sub meaning, but nevertheless you do have the ones that always stick out that you do remember, and tons of them that do keep happening over and over again.
Deja vu is some call it. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to ask, it's more of a question than just anything else. Do you have any that really stick out, or ones that have happened so much throughout life? Doesn't even have to be recent, could be through childhood or whatever. And then also, to branch from just the topic of dreams, what's your ideal dream scenario? Not in the sense of goals or real world, but dream world.
All right, so here's the thing. There are a couple of these that I can't answer for legal reasons.
Oh.
So I don't have reoccurring dreams, but this is not going to be funny in the slightest. one of my reoccurring dreams, I'm not going to go into on here. It's a little too personal. The next reoccurring dream, these are all very tragic reoccurring dreams, mind you. The next reoccurring dream was when I was 16 years old. I worked at a pizza place called Dominic's, right? Now, this pizza place happened to get robbed one night. And the guy I was working for shot this guy who was robbing us fatally many times. Many times. Sorry, I had to take a drink there. Now, he almost shot me in the fucking face because of a bullet that had missed the robber initially. And it never really bothered me because my boss gave this dude ample time to not go for the safe where his gun was. He told him to go for the register and get the fuck out of there. And the guy insisted on the safe, and so he got what was in the safe. That being said, again, never really bothered me. Didn't think much about it. Honestly, I was just glad to get out of that bitch alive. Because I, for real, was 6 inches from a fucking bullet in my face. But years later, I would have a reoccurring dream watching this man die, waking up, profusely sweating and hyperventilating like I had just been running. And then I think to myself, whoa, that's something. And then I'd go back to sleep. That's the extent of the reoccurring dream that I have. So, you're welcome, my guy. I dream of murder. It was a murder, by the way. It was self-defense. It was, yeah. When I say he shot him many, many times, it was because of, blah, 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 blah. He emptied a clip on this guy in a very close quarter situation, and it was a very pivotal moment for, I think, gun legislation here, because, yeah, this dude did shoot at my boss, mind you. Like, my boss dodged a bullet, too. So, like, he almost died. I almost died. Dude did die. My boss is a family friend that I don't want anything to be misconstrued that way. Really fucked him up. Now, him, it really fucked up. So if we're talking about reoccurring dreams that fuck you up, what's so interesting is that this dude before, now we're talking about a Napolitano Italian. Like, we're not talking about a fucking New Jersey Italian who thinks they're Italian because their great-great-grandfathers came over here. No. I'm talking about a man straight from Naples. I thought I had a burp. For those who don't know, Naples is a fucking slum of a city. No offense to any Napolitanos. You're my brethren. However, basically the entire thing is what they call the Bassos, which is projects. It's a pretty rough part. It's fucked over there, man. For those of you thinking to yourself, I was in Naples and it didn't seem so bad. I promise you, you're military. Promise you, and you stayed on fucking base. Because you were told, don't go into the goddamn city. And it's because it's a very rough place. I had assumed, given the rough nature of the neighborhood that I knew Nando grew up in, I can say Nando, and no one's going to find him. The boss of mine, I knew the neighborhood he grew up in, and I knew it was a shithole. I had just assumed that maybe he had been put in similar situations earlier on. And I did know that he was, there was some trouble in Naples. And so he came to America. What I didn't know was how bad that shit would fuck him up. When I say this man just went on a downward spiral, it was fucking rough. And it was a weird thing to watch when you don't really expect that. You know what I mean? And it was fucking intense. Do you remember anything of that?
No, I must have been really, really young at the time because you said you were, what, 16?
Yeah, I was just about 16.
Yeah, so I was probably about 5 or 6 at the time then. So I don't remember much about it. I remember hearing the stories later on in life, and especially about it being like a big thing for the NRA or whatever, because they were trying to pass some sort of legislation, right?
It wasn't okay. To put this in perspective, because guns rights gets really weird nowadays. What it was at the time the NRA was trying to push for a legislation to not be passed, which I don't even necessarily think is really that great of an idea. And the legislation would state that no one operating within a place of business, even the business owners, could have a firearm within X amount of feet of the building. So you weren't allowed to keep firearms in the building, which would prevent the very situation that we were in. But the question is, if someone's willing to shoot, were they willing to shoot to begin with? I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question. Remove the gun from this situation, and I'm not sure what would happen, but I can guarantee you that the dude who was robbing us would have had a gun. And while I almost got shot that night, I didn't, and I walked away from it. Whereas, like, no, I don't know what would have fucking happened, but I can't say no one walks into a place and just, like, shoots them up and kills them. So it's a complicated issue, but that happened, like, the day before they were voting on it, and the story kind of blew up, and it swung... it swung the that legislation a certain type of way and completely shot it down. And he was considered like this big hero, and that kind of fucked him up because he was like, I just killed the dude, and I don't know if that's a good.
I can't even begin to imagine how that must feel when you like take someone's life and you're like not
applauded
rewarded.
For it?
You're applauded for it.
You're pretty much applauded for it. It was so bad. So one of the cops on the case. So whenever you, I have my personal feelings on what happened. I think it was a lot of shady shit that was going on there that I didn't know about. I don't know 100% know. But what I do know is that whenever you shoot someone, even if you do claim self-defense, they take your gun for forensics. They work it, so on and so forth. It was like so bad. One of the cops who was like friends with the owner he was like, hey, they took your pistol. Here's a pistol to protect yourself. We really appreciate what you did. And he was just like, I mean, thanks, but also like for him, it put in perspective value of life because it really fucked with him that I think he almost died and that he took a dude's life. And that's a really weird thing. You know what I mean? My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We had some audio discrepancies that we had to pause for. We're getting back on it though. I believe we left off talking about the legislation that was going to happen, so on and so forth. And how it was kind of a complicated issue being regarded as like that was your legacy, fucking killing a dude. And I think that really fucked with him.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like a similar thing that maybe some soldiers have to go through. Probably.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at. I'm laughing at a DM I just got.
Hold on, let me look.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We're not going to talk about it. So anyways, remember you can DM BDB your dick pics and
don't fucking
see
do that.
Who's the BDB of the world.
Please don't. I will block you.
I cannot wait. Use an alt account. I cannot wait.
Why are you condoning this? Why?
Because it's so fucked up. So hold on to get back on topic. The other reoccurring dream that I have, I'm not at liberty to discuss, just because it touches on personal matters that are entirely
understandable,
too touchy. But there is another. So I have this reoccurring dream. I'm going through these fears. No, okay. So I will talk about a reoccurring dream that I had for the sake of sheer disclosure. That was like, you know how you see in movies where like people are dreaming up to a moment that they realize, like I think they do it in Watchmen, where like they have flashbacks of pieces of that moment until they remember the moment. So like it'll be the first like 5 seconds of a 20-second memory. And then the next
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that happened about another, I suppose, tragic thing that happened to me when I was a child. And we're going to leave that one there.
All right.
Typically, these things occur in a Catholic church. That's all I'll say.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said.
2 popes?
Just one, apparently. But no, in all seriousness, it was, I don't think enough people are honest about like being violated as a child. They like to keep it a little hush hush. And I think that's a problem because then we see it as this thing we can't talk about instead of addressing the problem. And I think, for me, it didn't fuck with me my whole life. I was just like a grown up. I was like 22 when I had this like bout of dreams. And I was just like, okay, well, that's fucking something I have to live with. It explains the butt stuff. And then I left it at that.
Yeah, I don't really know where to go with this other than I guess sorry if I brought up any past trauma, I guess. Wasn't trying to do anything like that, but I do appreciate the honesty, of course, and I'm sure everyone else does.
Yeah, I think and the one that I don't want to talk about is just because it's entirely too personal.
Yeah, no, understandable.
But yeah, it's my reoccurring dreams were nightmares. And all I can do is laugh about them, or else the overwhelming nightmare of reality seeps in. So what are your reoccurring dreams? Let's talk about this.
So my reoccurring dreams were also kind of nightmares, but nowhere in the same realm as those.
Okay.
The main one, it's very basic. It's the whole like falling from a high distance, like skyscraper type deal, and then you hit the ground and you wake up type thing.
Wait, do you hit the ground and wake up, or you wake up as you hit the ground, like right before?
I can't entirely. It was kind of like interchangeable sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
I think there was like a few times, maybe if I'm remembering correctly, where I would like hit the ground and would kind of be like,
because you couldn't survive that.
Yeah.
The body can't live without the mind.
Yeah.
We watched Matrix.
We did watch Matrix today. It was so good.
It was really good.
We'll have to mention that in a bit. But yeah. Other than that, I had like dreams that were scary to me as a child, but now don't really do anything to me. Like this one's kind of dumb, but since we're sharing, we're being honest. Even though my honest is going to be like
a therapy session real quick.
Well, this one isn't in the same ilk as yours. But I'd have like these crazy nightmares where it'd be like we're driving in the car and it'd be nighttime or whatever, and for some reason there was always like a giant like bush. Not that kind of bush, but like a shrubbery of some sort, and it just
was it attached to a vag?
No, it was.
Okay.
It was just like in the distance, or sometimes it'd be like a cloud of fog, and you know the Uruk-hai from the Lord of the Rings, the movies in particular, the design of them. For those who don't know, just look up a picture of the Uruk-hai from the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
If you don't know what an Uruk-hai looks like from the Lord of the Rings, why are you listening to this podcast? Please DM me on Twitter at GamesTechMM.
Flawless blog.
And find Bruno's and send him your dick pic.
Don't.
So, please continue.
It would always be the group of Uruk-hai that attacked the Fellowship at Amon-Hen, in particular, where that was led by Lurtz, the one who kills Boromir. Spoilers if you haven't seen the movies, but if you haven't, fuck you.
Also, Sean Bean dies in everything. Surprise.
Anyways, the point
fucking dies in video games he's in.
Yeah, true. But the point I'm getting to, I guess, is I'd always like in those dreams, because I'd always be a child. Even when I'd have the dreams as I got older too, but I'd always be a child in the dreams, like a 5-6-year-old, because that's, I guess, when I was terrified of these things, and it'd always be driving down the road and like out of like the fog or the mist or whatever you want to call it. It'd be just a group of Urukai just like charging towards the fucking car. And they never make it to the car, but it's always like that build up. And then we'd get home and I'd just start freaking the fuck out because I was the only one who had seen this.
Okay.
And then I'd like fucking try to hide. And the next thing I remember is they just fucking break into the house and just start throwing shit everywhere. And then that's usually when I would wake up. And then the other one was always a similar one where it was another breaking and entering case of a character that's a villain that doesn't exist, and it was Darth Maul. It'd always be I'd be hiding under a bed, and I'd just see fucking Darth Maul's ugly ass face with his fucked up teeth.
So Satan was coming to get you,
and he would just fucking force lift the bed up and just grab me and then just fucking kill me with the lightsaber. And yeah, so mine also nightmares, but nothing like that. But that's all I have for reoccurring dreams.
Yeah.
Do you want to get to what's your ideal dream in dreamland?
I don't really have dreams like that anymore.
Fair. I don't really either. Yeah. So I guess
I think like, so to touch back on my dreams, I think that's why I don't remember a lot of my childhood. Like I don't remember almost any of it. Because
I get like flashes of things.
Yeah. I think it's because my brain is repressing a lot of shit. And I just
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, my brain could be disguising past traumas as fucking Urukai and Darth Maul for some reason.
I think there's a split that your brain can do with that shit, and it can either repress it or it could replay it to the degree that it defines who you are. Yeah. Which is why I like never, there are some people who like get so upset that like someone clings on to past trauma, and it's like, no, I get it. You shouldn't, because it's not healthy. You should really work past it. But I noticed that people with immense past trauma usually have super fucked up sense of humors. And for me personally, I'm not speaking in general, but for me personally, it was a fair trade-off.
Yeah, I'd say pretty fair trade-off for me too.
Like I don't, it doesn't really bother me, I guess.
No,
I've been through so much fucked up that like that shit doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's baby shit in comparison.
Yeah.
Which
like again, not to discredit anyone's like everyone handles shit differently, but in the same breath, like that's how I handle mine. Is like I just don't really let it bother me.
Yeah.
Or define me.
I think we both handle things with we just joke about it.
Yeah.
And it works for us.
Yeah, we make some jokes that like we wouldn't be able to make on this podcast
or any
podcast. Yeah. No, for sure. And it's so fucked up. We have family members with fucked up senses of humor who are like, "Holy shit, did you just make that joke?"
And
we're dying of laughter.
Yeah. I guess that really does say something about us, though.
Yeah, we're probably terrible people, but
probably, but at least low key.
Yeah, so
it's not too forward with it.
I promise this podcast isn't really
not
this deep.
Yeah, typically no. But do you want to go into like maybe one of your topics? Maybe get a little lighter tone, and even if it's not, well, fuck, we're already in this deep.
I will go on to my topic. Hard right turn, Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka is my topic specifically.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right here. Just real quick, just for clarification. Do you mean Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder, or do you mean Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Either.
With Johnny Depp?
Either.
Okay, so just the IP as a whole?
We were having a discussion earlier, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which is the one with Gene Wilder, correct?
Yes.
Came on, and I'm no film expert, okay? Mind you, I'm not even a novice as a film aficionado, as some would put it. But we were going through, and Willy Wonka and the fucking Chocolate Factory or whatever the fuck it's called was in comedies. And you went, "Why the fuck is this in comedies?" And I looked at you and I was like, "Because it's a comedy. What the fuck would you classify it as?" And I never really got an answer. I am genuinely curious as what lens do you view that movie through?
So it's weird because I kind of said it earlier when you had mentioned it, I just see it as entertainment. And I know that doesn't have any specific genre to it. I've just never seen it as anything except something that was just meant to entertain. I've never viewed it through like a comedic lens. Maybe it's because I never think of that particular movie as, not that it's not funny. It
But
has
Charlie and the
comedic
Chocolate
moments.
Factory with Johnny Depp, you do?
More so, but even still, I don't view either. I just find them very eerie and not horror.
So would they
really.
be dramas?
I wouldn't say drama either. I don't know. It's a very weird,
Narrative-driven suspense movies?
sure, if that's even a thing you want to call it, but
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is Saw for children.
yeah, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, I like it. Like, what was it, the third Saw movie where he takes like 6 of them? And he's like, one of you was a heroin addict. Throw him in the needles. And they for real throw this heroin addict in like a fucking
That could
pit
honestly
full of
be
needles.
any of them. I don't know.
But
I've
what
seen
my
all
point
the
is,
Saw movies, though.
that
I'm
felt
not
like
proud of
that felt like the adult version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And at
Yeah.
the end, do you know what you're rewarded with in Saw? A twisted sense of humor. And that's kind of worth it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
well, Willy Wonka
the-
gives
the
you a chocolate
loss-
factory.
You gain a shit ton of time because you most likely lost your masturbating hand.
Maybe.
You know, the new one with Chris Rock
And Samuel
Sam
Jackson?
Dude, how good
That
does
one
that
looks
movie
really
look?
cool.
I
Spiral?
I don't
Yeah.
I don't like the Saw movies.
Yeah,
at all.
I don't think they're good movies. I've seen all of them, and I'm not proud of that. I think the aspect of it is really interesting.
Yeah, but you see a lot of movies. Like you're someone like
Yeah, but-
I enjoy games and I like movies from time to time. You like enjoy movies.
I enjoy shitty
Yeah.
movies too. Like, I will sit down and watch a shitty movie knowing it's shitty, honestly, just because I love background noise. And certain movies are just great for that background noise. And yeah, but Willy Wonka in particular, like I said, I'd never really view it through any kind of genre lens. But definitely Saw for
yeah.
children makes a lot of sense. It's just, I don't know. What I will say, though, is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory gave me one of my favorite songs, and it's Pure Imagination. That it's such a
I
creepy
love the
song.
Family
though.
Guy version of it.
Oh, Pure Inebriation. That one's really funny. But I think maybe it's because when you hear the tone and the melody and just all the aspects of the song Pure Imagination are so eerie and kind of creepy, and it doesn't really, it kind of fits, but it also feels like some weird fever dream song. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah,
though.
that's fair. That's fair.
And then you have the one with Johnny Depp, the Burton one, where all the songs are just like weird.
That didn't
Pop
feel like a
songs.
Burton movie to me.
No, it doesn't. It's just, that movie is just, I mean, I know people like it, but I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it, I guess, pun intended. I don't like it.
No. It's really
like
like
Freddie
one of
Highmore
the
as
few
Charlie, though.
Johnny Depp movies I don't care for. But like
It's probably the only one I don't really care for.
it's
Like,
it's
I can-
just okay.
Yeah.
I don't-
One of my favorite Johnny Depp movies, though, for sure, is Blow.
I have good memories with it though.
What memories? Being Augustus Gloop?
No. Ha ha ha! You piece of. Are you fat shaming me?
Maybe. This
Okay,
isn't a
well,
video podcast yet, so maybe I am, maybe I'm not. No one knows.
We're gonna get the video aspect, and they're gonna be like, "Who's fat shaming him? That piece of fucking shit." Look at him. He just wants a cannoli. That poor boy. They were memories that dealt with cannolis and blow.
Blow like the movie?
No, no, not like the cocaine kind of blow, like the job kind of blow.
Oh.
Yeah. In middle school,
Oh. Hmm?
in the theater. Yeah,
Oh, what?
Yeah. We would have this weird movie night where
I'm intrigued.
where
Go
they
on.
would, they would play movies, and I happen to be dating. We'll call her Promiscuous. This very
whore.
promiscuous girl, my type.
Yeah, for
honestly, for sure, for fucking sure.
A harlot.
Yeah, and hey, you guys, we are not.
That's the one thing I won't
slut
shame.
shaming here
That's the one thing that I will not shame.
because I call myself a whore.
You are a
I
whore.
very much, to a degree, and
You're an emotional whore.
they're gonna be like, wait. A fat guy whore? They're gonna be so confused until they see video, and then they're gonna be like, I don't believe he's a whore. So no. Long story short, I was dating this one chick, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was playing. They were doing like $2 movies for fundraisers at the fucking school. We would go in the theater, and in like the actual theater, and the middle school theater because you went to the middle school. Okay. Right there. I'm not going to say where, but it's right there. Up in the back, like...
The balcony-ish type area?
Stage right.
Oh, stage right.
Yeah.
Wait, you were on the stage?
No.
Stage right side?
Stage right. So yeah. So
left for the audience side. Stage right is when you're looking out at the audience.
Stage left.
Okay, so you were on the right side of the auditorium.
I was on the right side of the auditorium. And the only reason I went to that movie was to get my penis touched. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. She had a friend with her. It was weird.
Oh,
it was kind of.
Was the friend involved in any way, or just there?
The friend wasn't involved. The friend was just there,
okay.
And I was like, okay, does this ruin it?
I was gonna say that might be a bit much for middle schoolers.
I was like, this ruins it, and she was like, hey. Why do I still have my pants on? And I was like,
she wanted that everlasting gobstopper, is what I'm hearing.
Bada bing is not everlasting, but sure, we'll go with that one.
Yeah, and 0.3 seconds.
If I can get there.
Neverlasting gobstopper.
The neverlasting gobstopper. Oh my God. I got a few people I'm going to call that. Yeah, so.
That's a very interesting memory, I guess, to have with that movie.
I have good memories with that movie. And then oddly enough, there was a time in high school where a girl had a friend with her. Like I went over there and I was like, and
don't tell me the movie was on.
No. I'll tell you who it was off air. I can't tell you who it was.
All right.
But you know her and you know her brother. And she, yeah. Okay. I guarantee you know her brother. And, she had a friend over and that did not stop me at all. Stop us. That sounded terrible. But it didn't stop whatever was going to, because I went over there with like the intention of like, the way she made it sound was like, oh yeah, I can't wait for you to get over here. And I got over there and I was just like, oh, fucking teenage boys are the worst. Like, I don't even think they're people. They're subhuman pieces of shit.
They're beasts.
Yeah, we were not excluded from that. And so I go over there. She's got her friend over there, and I'm like, damn it, man. And she's like, come up here on the bed with me. And I was like, your friend's fucking sitting on the bed with you. She was like, she'll have to leave at some point.
Oh.
She like got up to go get a drink or go to the bathroom. She was like, all right, come on. Then we started messing around, and then her friend came back in, and she didn't stop. And so I was just like,
what did the friend do?
Nothing.
What the fuck?
It was just, yeah.
Was this just normal?
I had some really fucked up problems as a child, as a teenager.
These sounds like the type of things that you'd see on a teenage drama show where it's about the kids trying to have sex in high school.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And then I feel really bad for what I did to her.
What'd you do?
Like, I just stopped talking to her.
Oh, you're a dick.
Oh, yeah. It was, and then I said,
you are an emotional whore.
I started dating
the friend. Was it the friend?
No, it wasn't the friend.
Okay.
I was
about to say plot twist.
It was my ex-wife.
Oh,
yeah. It was yeah. So, and I never gave her an explanation. I just I ghosted her. And I feel so bad. Like it was a dumb thing when I was a teenager, and I'm sure I hope she doesn't fucking think about it at all. But I genuinely feel bad about it to this day, where I'm like,
I mean, you can't.
I've thought about
really
reaching out and saying I'm sorry. That's how bad it. Yeah, but like it's a shitty thing to do.
Of course, but
do that.
I think at the age you're at now, that's probably the least of your worries so far as like bad shit that you've done to people.
Yeah, probably,
especially involving people with their relationships.
Yeah, maybe. It's I like wives. What can I say? So anyways, we're going to move on to your topic number 2. Since we touched on all the touching with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. These topics
there was probably
have
a lot
gone,
of touching going on with Charlie and the
we
Chocolate
get
Factory.
here?
I don't know, but I'm glad because we're just it's natural. We're just talking, enjoying the time.
So,
second topic.
So, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, so this is definitely a topic I know we can go on about, which I know we will, but I still wanted to bring it up just because I thought it'd be fun, but also just forewarning that I know that it's a bit, it is nerd based, so it is definitely something that we can talk about on here.
Something that we talk about on Multitap or here. Yeah, it's fine. Free balling is literally just
I know. I'm just letting you know it's something that probably would be more in tune for Multitap, which by the way, if you guys haven't listened to, you should definitely check it out. Now I got the flawless plug. You see?
That was pretty good. Yeah. That was pretty good. You're getting good at this, man. You're getting good at this.
You didn't do the thing that I do though, which I like the thing that
flawless plug.
Yeah. I'm going to do that every time. Anyways, Lord of the Rings. Books, movies, whichever way you want to look at it. You could look at it Middle Earth as a whole, but I just want to talk about those 3 books and or movies, whichever one, and how they have impacted us in particular, because I know they mean a lot to us in different ways. And I guess I've never really tried to understand what it means to you, because I know what it means to me naturally. But I guess I just don't know why you fuck with this so much.
Lord of the Rings was the first time I was really introduced to fantasy. It came out when I was in 4th grade. 2001, right?
Yeah.
It came out like November or December 2001.
It was always during Christmas time.
And
roughly.
I had never heard of... I had played like... The fantasy genre wasn't really a thing I had explored. I had dabbled in playing... God. I don't know. There were a couple games I had played. Maybe. I hadn't even played Legend of Zelda yet.
I mean, for the most part, growing up, I'd say you were pretty much a sci-fi kid, right?
Yeah, it was all sci-fi. So growing up, it was Star Wars, Star Trek, Stargate, even.
All the stars.
The stars were aligned. But there was never any fantasy. And that's because fantasy hadn't been depicted.
I don't want to say a dying genre.
So there was. The only fantasy that I knew was Willow. And Willow is so far apart from... There was like Willow and very few like King Arthur stuff that had been
and then
done.
I guess like Princess Bride technically, but I don't know
Princess
if you'd even seen
Bride,
that at that point.
No, I really liked it. But the problem for me was like they were always comedies or like not really good. Like,
yeah, they're almost Shakespearean in that sense.
Yeah, no. They absolutely are. And there wasn't really a fantasy world that had been fleshed out before this. And so for me, Lord of the Rings was the first time, like I felt like most people felt watching Star Wars. And also like a Lord of the Rings style movie had never been done. Like most action movies, the way they're done nowadays owe their grand scale to Lord of the Rings. There was never really anything like that before.
Undeniably. I mean, say. Especially within other fantasy.
Maybe Ben-Hur? Maybe. And that still wasn't really even like that. So, yeah, it felt like what most people describe Star Wars as. It was something so new, so fantastical, so over the top. Like, I remember at the time, audiences weren't used to, they weren't used to movies being so fucking long. And like Titanic was the one before that. It had an intermission in it. Nowadays, they would never do that. But it had an intermission in Titanic. And Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring had an intermission. And the intermission was when they're coming out of Moria. And they're about to go to Lothlorien. That's where the intermission was. And for me, I was like, wow, that was so good. They're going to make another one, right? And one of my mom's friends took me with her husband. And she was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, there are 2 more books. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. I can't wait to go see it. And she goes, there's still another half to this movie. And my mind was blown. I was like, holy shit. This movie's been going on for like an hour and some change. And there's another whole movie.
And I definitely know what part you're talking about naturally, which like that part just being, I imagine for you, that being where it ends off, where just fucking Gandalf dies.
Oh yeah, it was so crazy.
And then it cuts to intermission.
Gandalf,
I imagine not knowing that there's more, being just like, what the fuck? Like that
Gandalf
felt
dying
awesome.
was like Obi-Wan Kenobi dying. But you got to understand, A New Hope, yeah, sure, main characters didn't really die like that. Obi-Wan wasn't fleshed out in A New Hope. He was just kind of like a side character. He would later
get fleshed out.
Yeah, later.
In the stuff now.
And that's why we appreciate, I can go back and be like, man, it sucked when Obi-Wan died but watching that for the first time, I'd be like.
No, Luke only knew him for 3 days.
Yeah, this is fucking, who the fuck is this? Okay.
He's some crazy wizard.
Gandalf was. He was
right from the
man.
jump. You meet Gandalf and you just feel an attachment towards him because the first scene he's in is with Frodo.
And then I found out that there were books. And this is probably why I don't like Harry Potter. So, again, I was in 4th grade. I had read up to, I think, The Goblet of Fire had just come out.
That's the 4th one. So it's the first time they started getting like really big.
Yeah. The Goblet of Fire was coming out, or it just came out.
Yeah.
I was reading the Harry Potter books, and I was like, these are okay. I got through, I think, 1 and 2, and I was like, they're just okay. They're not bad. And then someone was like, the Lord of the Rings is so immensely better. But I didn't want to spoil the story, so I waited till they were done. Then I went back in middle school. I read those books so many goddamn times, as well as The Hobbit. Then I picked up the Silmarillion and I tried to read that, and I was like, fuck this book. And for me, it was just like, it was the first time we got that thing that was so immensely different than anything else when it comes to like fantasy. I really owe my love of fantasy to Lord of the Rings. Like, that's why I liked World of Warcraft. That's why I like RPGs. The reason I like Zelda so much is the original Zelda felt like an extension of like a Lord of the Rings world or something like that. And I had just come off of watching The Fellowship. So that's what they are to me. What about for you?
Yeah, so definitely my first exposure to fantasy, because by the time I was born, Two Towers had just come out, because that was December of 2002. I was born in January, that same... Or no, actually. Yeah, I was almost a year old, actually, I guess, when the second one came out. And so naturally, by the time I was like, I guess, sentient enough to remember movies, it was always Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And growing up, you know, you guys, and you especially, loved Lord of the Rings, and so it was always something I was drawn towards. But later on, I really found myself enjoying it once I got to 2nd grade. And there was one book I always saw in the library when I was in school, and it was a book that I, you know, quote, wasn't allowed to check out because it was too high of a reading level.
Yeah, they used to piss me off. They used to tell me that shit
every time. It always made me upset because it was like, just let me fucking read it. If I can't read it, I'll fucking give it back. I'm not going to keep a book I won't read.
Yeah.
But that book was The Hobbit, which I know, not The Lord of the Rings, but at the time, I didn't know they were intertwined in any way, shape, or form. I just saw the cover. I believe it might have been John Howe who had done the art for it. I don't remember.
That's the one that the ones that look kind of old, like they should be from the 70s or some shit like that.
Yeah, so I remember the book like almost every detail.
It's like the white, green, and blue
colored
ones, right?
No, the white, green, and blue one was, I think I know that one that you're talking about. That one was Tolkien's art.
Okay, yeah.
And then the one that I remember from that school in particular, which I want to find that copy of that book because it's the first one I ever read, and so just seeing that, and there are a lot of really nice color paintings in it. I think it was John Howe, but it's like it was a hardcover book, and it was orange, and it had just the dragon on the front, and it said The Hobbit in green letters. And
I don't know.
I might have seen it. It's one I've never seen ever since.
Since?
Yeah.
Huh. That is interesting.
I remember trying to check it out every time we went to the library, and they always said no. And then eventually one day they were like, all right, if you can read the first chapter of the book and understand every word, then we'll let you check it out. And of course I did, because my reading level was pretty damn high in second grade. Checked it out, read it, loved it. Still my favorite book to this day. I read it yearly just because I love it that much, which I know is probably a problem. But when it comes to the world of Middle-earth, I have several problems, and we'll get to that in a sec. Because then you have when Lord of the Rings really started to impact me, when we were, moving from house to house a lot, and it was all that type of situation. And so it was never really had a lot of things for comfort, because we couldn't really afford to like get all the new shit like games and whatnot. So it was always just old movies for real, which is I guess where my love of movies comes from, because I could always watch a movie. I couldn't always play games or do things like that.
I feel that.
Like, cause I was kind of behind so far as all that goes. I was still playing PS2, honestly, when PS4 was coming out still. Like, that's maybe when I got my first PS3. But anyways, I had always watched The Lord of the Rings in particular because, I really liked the just the overall world that was built. And it was the first time I guess I ever saw that there was more than just what was on the page or on screen. And so the first thing I did, I remember when we had the extended editions, which are the only ways you need to watch those movies. Once you watch the extended editions, the theatrical cuts are kind of ruined for you. They're still good.
Dude, the extended editions are
so good.
Oh, they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
They're really good.
They have all the commentaries on them and all the appendices. And I watched all of them for each movie, which is just hours upon hours of extra shit. And it made me, there's a lot of stuff in there about like Tolkien as like a person. Made me interested in him a lot. I read a bit more about him, got more into the world that he created, and it just kind of became a world where I knew that I could always theoretically go to, like even in my mind, I guess you could say.
In your mind's eye.
Yeah, I just and the characters, they were all vastly different from one another, which to me at the time didn't seem like, it just seemed completely new, because Star Wars had characters that were different, but the ones that I remember most from childhood were the prequels, and there's not much character there in a lot of those.
No, I suppose not. Yeah.
And then, but Lord of the Rings, you had, Merry and Pippin, they're the comic relief. Sam, who starts as comic relief, who you really see that he's a dear friend for Frodo. Frodo, who's this struggling protagonist. You have Gandalf, the wise wizard, guiding them. You have the rest of the Fellowship, and then the bad guys, even all that. They all felt fleshed out, and they didn't need to. Like, I think it was something that, like, you saw how much love and thought was put into each thing, because that's what Tolkien wanted to do. And
Tolkien was kind of a perfectionist, was he not?
Yeah, I guess you could definitely argue that he was, because he was always kind of perfecting those stories as they were coming to him. And yeah, so it was everything that would later connect from the Silmarillion, because it wasn't always meant to be connected in the same world, and then eventually it was. But I guess the point I'm making is the world had so much purpose, and it never felt like it needed to, but the fact that it did was just so amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's done that. Like, for real. To that degree, at least.
No, probably not.
There are definitely people who try to do it, and people who can do a pretty good job with what they can do, but I don't think anyone can ever top what Tolkien did. And I know not everyone necessarily likes his writing style or even likes his work, but you can't deny how impactful it is. So to me, it was always, I guess, that cliched like world that you can like find, to really sink into and find comfort in.
Yeah.
And so it's always my comfort food for anything, pretty much. It's my go-to for if I just want something to read that's relaxing or calming. It's go-to movies, because I know all the lines to it, which is not an exaggeration. in the slightest.
No, it's fucking not. I think we've spoken before on
We
here
have.
about your holy shit. I don't even know what you can call it. It's not quite an obsession, but it is fucking something.
So you know how on Netflix they have the Two Towers and Return of the King on there, and if you hover over a movie, it'll play like a clip of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it played I hovered over both of them just to see what clip it would play, and I knew exactly where it was in the movie, and I knew exactly what lines were coming up.
Yeah, now that's one thing. But to hear part of a score, no lines, no anything, literally just part of a score.
The other
because
problem.
I was watching a video on Instagram. You were like, "Oh, this is a fucking battle of the whatever."
It was the Battle of Moria in the first Hobbit when Thorin fights Azog after he just beheaded the king.
The Defiler.
The Defiler.
How?
Why was he called the Defiler?
Azog the Defiler?
Yeah, who did he defile? Or what did he defile?
I always thought it was like some not respecting bodies type shit.
It could be. I was just trying to see if there was any innuendo you wanted to make with that.
Well, I was going with necrophilia. I think he fucked dead dwarves in their ass.
You think that's why he cut off the king's head? He was just going to skull fuck it?
Through the neck hole.
Through the neck hole.
Through the neck hole.
Gross. Anyways.
Hold on. This is a serious thing.
Yes.
Do orcs reproduce?
See, I've had this
If
thought
they
to
don't, do
myself
they have a
several
dick?
times before. So I've had this thought many times just because I think it's a very important thing that no one really talks about. Because, yes, of course, elves were where orcs were created from at first because you had when Morgoth...
But there are no female orcs.
Yeah, because it was originally the elves that were created, when Eru first created the elves, and you had Morgoth who corrupted them and turned them into orcs, blah, 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 blah. Read the Silmarillion if you want all the details. It's a lot.
No one's going to read the
But
Silmarillion. I fucking love Lord of the Rings, and I'm not
it's good.
reading the Silmarillion.
Promise you it's good.
Okay. All right, fine. Fuck
Better than Harry Potter. I'll say that.
Oh, god damn it. I just got a boner. Ooh.
Yeah, you never thought I'd say that on here, did you? Or on any fucking thing.
No, if you ever said Harry Potter was better than Lord of the Rings, I would probably I would jump over the desk, fuck up all of our equipment,
The Harry Potter
and punch
movies are better than the Hobbit movies, though. The Harry Potter movies are better than the Hobbit movies.
Piece of fucking shit. Ooh. Ooh, this isn't a video podcast.
Due to how dear The Hobbit is to me as a book, to see it just kind of disgraced in such a way, yes, the Harry Potter movies are better.
Prisoner of Azkaban and Order of the Phoenix are better.
Yes. Okay.
They're the only two that are better, though. I haven't seen Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood Prince, I think you'd like.
Or the
Half-Blood
last
Prince.
one. What's the last one?
Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2.
Deathly Hallows.
I think honestly 5 and after I think you would really like. I think
I haven't actually sat down and watched any of those movies from beginning to completion ever.
Yeah,
not
that's why we're gonna do it so that you can at least get a feel for it.
No, we're not. Nope.
I think we are. But anyway,
Harry Potter sucks a big fat cock.
So yeah, that's
you know who I shipped?
Who?
Harry Potter and Ron Weasley.
I'm sure a lot of Tumblr does too.
Ooh, that one hurt. Ooh.
Yeah, how does it feel?
Ow.
How does it feel? You are Tumblr. You are Tumblr trash.
Stop it. Stop. No. You know who they shipped? Real talk. They shipped fucking Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy. And that is fucking garbage.
Gross.
It was really gross. Yeah, so like all jokes aside, I think it made way more sense for Harry and Ron to be together.
I always wanted Harry and Hermione to be together, but whatever.
J.K. Rowling was like, she retconned that, which was weird.
She didn't retcon it, but she was like, oh yeah, that probably should have done that.
But how trash is Tumblr?
Very trash. We won't get into that though, because we don't. I'll give Harry Potter a platform every day, but never Tumblr. And yeah, shiver in the corner, quiver.
That's what I do every time I jerk off.
Okay, just gonna skip past that. Yes, that's how the orcs were created from back when Morgoth
So do they have just straight
them.
badges, or do you think they have dicks?
No, I think they probably have dicks, and I don't know where the rest of them come from, if I'm being honest.
But why would they have dicks?
I don't know. Maybe because, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I don't know if they were only male elves that were corrupted. Could be female elves as well that were turned into orcs and they just like keep them like whorehouses.
You think that's why they called him the Defiler? There
Maybe.
are no female. There is no reference of a female orc,
Ever.
to my knowledge, in anything.
I've never seen one or heard of one.
Which means, do you think that's why he was called Azog the Defiler?
Yeah,
Because he was like, I have nothing.
You know who he probably defiled? Gothmog. Probably definitely defiled that piece of shit.
Who the fuck is Gothmog?
Return of the King. He's the one with the puffy ass face. That's why his face is probably all puffy.
He got syphilis from a certain certain female
defiler
that we know.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, she's Azog the Defiler. Anytime we mention her from now on, she's Azog the Defiler.
Which
she has defiled.
He shouldn't have been in that. He shouldn't have been in that fucking trilogy. He's in the back. He's in the flashback. I understand that. That's because he was actually in that battle and he was actually killed in that battle.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But he shouldn't have been in the rest of the trilogy because he was dead. He was dead. Bolg, his son, only showed up in the Battle of the Five Armies at the end, and he killed Thorin, Fili, Kili. But then he was killed by Beorn. Doesn't matter. We won't get into that.
Okay. So then there clearly do have to be females? Because you just said son of.
Yeah, he legit has a son, Bolg. And that was in the books, that was his son too. So it's not like it was just a movie thing.
Do you think orcs are like toads?
I don't know. Let's look this up whenever we're done.
Whatever frog? Because there's a certain species of frog. This idea is where the whole Alex Jones meme, they're turning the freaking frogs gay. That's where this comes from. Is he was talking about some conspiracy. But what the real thing is that there's a certain species of like frog or some shit like that that's hermaphrodite by nature. So it sees what gene pools what are, and a male can transition to a female or something like that. And basically they do this in order to ensure the most likely survival of their species. So they can tell like number wise by pheromones how many males and how many females there are. And if they need to, switch either way. And do you think orcs do that? Or do they birth babies from their ass canal?
I wonder if... Now this might be a little crazy, but I wonder if...
I bet we could consult Pornhub. I bet Pornhub would show us.
I don't know if I want to consult Pornhub. We could probably consult Stephen Colbert. He would know. He knows all things.
Why is he an expert on Lord of the Rings? Like, he is seriously such an expert. Peter Jackson legit had Stephen Colbert on the set to help with some shit.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert has reached a level that I don't think I'll ever reach, but ideally, like, if I knew all that shit, that'd be nice, but, like, I don't want to put in the work to learn that much. I know what I know, and it's more than what most casual fans know, and even some more hardcore fans know, so I'll take what I can get.
He's memorized, like, whoa.
Yeah. But I bet he can't fucking recite the movies from the score.
I bet he could. I
don't know. Stephen Colbert seems like he's a big fan of more so the books. He could probably recite verses from the books, like a fucking priest with a Bible.
Yeah, but he's also a really big fan of those movies too. Don't forget that.
Yeah, he was in the second Hobbit.
Like, he was the one. I believe he was the one who first started joking about like extended edition only.
Probably.
So like.
Yeah, he was in the second Hobbit, and the only reason I'm like, props to him. Like, of course, I'd love to be in any of those movies, but like, how could you let yourself be in that movie and let them do what they did? Look how they made a good my boy.
Yeah, but to be 100% honest, dude, I could have seen the Hobbit, the first Hobbit, which was a fucking abortion. The second Hobbit was better. I liked it. I genuinely liked it.
I think it's just all the stuff with
the
Bilbo
third one
and the
was
dragon.
It frustrated me just because they left Thorin's
funeral scene
for the extended edition, which I called literally coming out of the fucking movies. It honestly, New Line Cinema went out of business and Warner Brothers took over, right? That was who acquired New Line.
Yeah, I mean their name is on all that shit now.
And so they went for the cash grab. I wouldn't, if I was Peter Jackson, have let anyone else take over that, but sometimes you can't help what a producer comes in and does.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
Every fucking sleazy executive at Warner Brothers sticking their hands in, I would have been in as a cameo in any of those movies if they were worse than they were.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like to blame Peter Jackson for it because I understand it's not really his fault.
No, it's Warner Brothers' fault.
There's really not much he can do. There are a few things that I do think stylistically, so far as his directing style and overuse of CG, that he could help. Because with the amount of money that gets funneled into those things,
it was pretty
that
bad.
I can blame on him. But I know it was probably him just trying to push the limits of what a digital could do.
It wasn't. It wasn't Weta. So the problem was that the first Hobbit, not the first Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the reason why everything looks so good is because literally everything that could be was actually done. So like, I don't know why I can't think of the term, but instead of CG, it's practical effects, right? So you had orcs dressed up and so on and so forth, and that's why they all look different. The reason they all look the same in The Hobbit is because that movie was in production hell for 8 years. That movie was fucking... Dude, Guillermo del Toro was attached to the project at one point in time. It went through production hell for 3 years before he backed out of the project. And then it stayed in production hell for like another 3 to 5 years. I can't even remember how long it was. And the movie had been greenlit, mind you, but not fully greenlit to where they could start filming. So they were funneling money into Weta so that they could start doing the CG. Basically, most of that movie was made in CG, and they blew a lot of their budget there because they were they had so much time for pre-production that they started doing some of the post without ever filming anything. And that's why it looks like shit, because Lord of the Rings, all of it was filmed.
Yeah. It's saddening, but you know what? I am glad
How different would that have been with Guillermo del Toro attached to it?
I don't know if I'd necessarily want that. I love him and his work. I don't
like
think
Hellboy.
Yeah, I do, but I don't think
the
his
second
touch.
One's very.
I don't think his
Guillermo.
touch would have helped those movies in any way. I think it probably could have hurt them a little bit more.
I think
if it depends on what he was doing. I don't know if it was his style that was being thrown in there at all, or if it was just his money.
So, do you want to hear a hot take that might frustrate you?
Mm.
And I'm not sure if it will, depending on how real you come at this subject. A Lord of the Rings remake is bound to happen.
Yeah.
It 100% will happen.
Mm-hmm.
When it happens, I want to see it handed over to Guillermo del Toro, and I want to see what he makes. And I want him to make whatever vision he wants. Don't do a screen accurate adaptation of the books. Do a
that
del
wouldn't work.
Toro adaptation. Because Peter Jackson already did that. Don't do what Peter Jackson did. I want to see Guillermo del Toro's interpretation of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. The only reason I'm not fine with that for The Hobbit is because you already have this universe that's set up in already a certain style.
I kind of
seeing
agree.
it from the beginning though, like with his, I'd be more than down with that. Especially because I think there are a lot of choices he would make from the beginning that would be pretty cool. He'd probably throw in Tom Bombadil.
I agree.
Del Toro
Guillermo del Toro would have thrown in Bombadil. But I honestly would love to see the keys handed over to Del Toro and them not go, hey, stick to the fucking story. Like, don't go off killing Sam or some shit in fucking The Fellowship. You have to stick to the main plot points of the story. But we want to see how you would interpret this onto the screen. Not accurate to the books necessarily. Yeah. You can deviate quite a bit, because Jackson didn't deviate a whole lot. Slightly, so slightly.
Yeah, slight things that really don't matter, and that kind of improved with the movies. If, in my opinion, I'd say improved with the movies.
But I would also like to see Jon Favreau do it.
I'd be fine with that. I have nothing against anyone who would like to do their own interpretation.
I'm kidding. I don't want to see Favreau do it.
Really?
I want him to keep trying to save Star Wars. He's the only thing we have saving that goddamn...
him, Dave Filoni, Taika Waititi.
Him, Dave Filoni, and Taika Waititi. But Taika Waititi's too busy to save fucking Star Wars. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, dude, I believe should replace Kathleen Kennedy. Because I'm not even mad about Rian Johnson. Give him his own fucking... Rian Johnson makes beautiful movies. He's fucking lazy. He's a shitty writer. I don't care for...
Don't let him write the movie, though.
I don't care for his movie in the Star Wars, in the final trilogy. It was fucking... We're not going to go on about Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I believe he can make really good movies because he made a fucking beautiful movie. Just let me give him his own fucking trilogy. Other than that, fuck Kathleen Kennedy and let fucking Jon Favreau. Honestly, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and Taika Waititi, with Taika Waititi overseeing production, is my dream combo for running Star Wars.
Yeah, 100%. I
Taika
don't think there's any
Waititi completely in
denying
charge. And then Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni kind of creatively.
Well, I would personally probably put Dave Filoni more in charge because he was literally probably
I wouldn't.
He was George Lucas's protege, pretty much. So I feel like it would make more sense.
I wouldn't put him in charge of production. I feel like Taika Waititi is better suited for that. Like, so basically, I would put Taika Waititi where Kathleen Kennedy is, and there's someone like, she has to greenlight all that shit, but there's someone who creatively and they've kind of given that over to Jon Favreau, and they've consulted Dave Filoni, but I want to see them do what, like, Kevin Feige did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, like, they come up with this overarching, like, grand structure of things.
Yeah.
Also, make Keanu Revan.
Yeah, Keanu as Revan is great.
Keanu as Revan. Dude, I cannot wait for Matrix 4. Yeah, the Matrix is so good.
Yeah. We did watch, of course.
I really think The Matrix is our A New Hope.
The first one.
Yeah.
Not the next following. Animatrix is really good.
Animatrix
is
really good.
Who directed the Animatrix?
I don't know.
I'll look into that later.
Yeah.
Because I like the Animatrix.
Yeah. We're picking up some weird shit. Let's take a quick break real quick before we get to our fourth topic.
Fourth
and final topic.
I do a drum roll, but I have nothing to. Yeah, the desk is too far.
I didn't anticipate that with the mic. That might get cut. I don't know. All right. So what I want to talk about, probably not. What I want to talk about for my fourth topic, all right, is seminal TV shows. TV shows that you have the fondest memory with. So this one's getting flipped on its head a bit. Typically, you talk about movies and TV. Today, I brought the movie and TV topics. What TV shows do you have, doesn't necessarily have to be the fondest memory with, but just ones that stick out in your head? What would those be?
First, is this live action or cartoon?
Period. Just ever.
All right. So the one I have to start with first, of course, would be Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, fuck yes.
Mainly because, in the fond memory with that, and I'll keep this one short just because we both could go on for a long time about this.
Dude, this could turn into another hour podcast.
Was you had shown it to me. You had like almost every episode on iTunes or whatever, and I just remember watching a lot of it on your computer. So that's what I'll leave with that. And I also do remember going back several times, rewatching it. The last episode is so fucking dope when he like fucking hits his back on the rock, fucking aligns his. So good.
He makes the Fire Lord his bitch.
He does.
He's just like, nah, motherfucker, and then he takes his fire bending.
I was watching the episode with where he fights Boomy. And
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Meets Boomy for the first time.
Good.
Oh, it's so good. I fucking love Boomy. Other than that, other shows, Smallville, definitely. I think
Smallville's really good.
Smallville is really good. So like the first few seasons are like, of course, not great and they don't hold up as well, but like that's to be expected. It's a fucking show from the year 2000.
Yeah.
So what do you expect? It really made me like Superman, and I've never liked Superman.
It made me like Tom Welling.
Yeah, Tom Welling's really good. Tom Welling's really good. It made me really love Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor, though.
Oh, dude, Michael Rosenbaum is the shit. Also, so is Tom Welling. It made me like Tom Welling so much, I wanted to see Cheaper by the Dozen because he was in it. I was a kid at the time.
Yeah, he was in both of them, and I wanted to watch both of them. Mainly because he was in it, and it sucks that his role is not that large.
Yeah, it's not.
But
it's nothing.
Smallville, because it made me like Superman, and then even like recently, I've also been trying to get into Superman a bit more too, and that's actually been pretty dope. Like
the Kingdom Come comics were so.
we both just read Kingdom Come, and it was fucking insane.
It was pretty good. It was really good.
I think I'm gonna have to get some more comics now. Catch up. I know that one's a really old one to play catch up with, but it was definitely a necessary one.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Other shows. I feel like it'd be wrong of me to not mention Game of Thrones, although it did not end well in the slightest. A lot of very good memories with Game of Thrones, and I think I'd be kind of being just too much of an asshole to that show if I didn't give it the credit that it deserves.
It's okay. You can be that asshole.
No, I definitely remember the first season
up to you.
very fondly, and then later on, the Red Wedding episode in particular was one I remember.
That shit was insane. It was pretty intense.
It made me feel, not in the sense of like sadness, but just like, what the fuck? Because at this point, you expect a lot of deaths in this show, but that was all of the deaths at once.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was
Yeah.
it was
It was the first show that made me realize, holy shit, this is what TV can be and probably should be going forward, and then they fucked it. So then maybe it was like, at what cost?
So I feel you. For me, Avatar: Last Airbender, naturally. Other than that, Star Trek: The Next Generation is such an amazing show. Like, you want to talk? I've seen that show to completion 3 times. That is one of the longest running live action non soap opera shows.
Yeah.
So like just regular shows.
How many episodes?
God, dude, I really don't remember. I don't remember, but it fucking a lot. I can tell you that much.
We need to start watching Picard.
Oh my god, Picard. I kind of want to wait for it to finish and then binge it though.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
That way
we
like,
don't have to wait.
Yeah, I really.
I'm terrible with waiting.
I'm bad with waiting too, and Mandalorian I think was perfect for that. But I also feel like I don't want CBS access.
Yeah, I think there's nothing else on it that's worth getting, other than maybe Star Trek Discovery. But I don't even know if you'll watch that.
I won't watch. I don't really care for the other Star Trek shows. I really like the new Star Trek movies. I don't like TOS very much. I don't like Deep Space Nine because of the Ferengi. Don't trigger me. Don't trigger. I fucking hate the Ferengi. They are pieces of utter fucking garbage. They're like if shit crawled out of an ass and became a sentient being, except they got a fucking character perk that was -5 IQ from the piece of shit that they began with. But
so much anger towards these little rays of sunshine.
You said a lot of shit this podcast that makes me want to hit the fuck out of you. Like
good.
Like
good. Do it.
One day I will. Strike me down from with your hatred. I don't remember movie lines like you do. It's taking everything in me not to throw this fucking mug at you. This Pickle Rick mug, shove it up your ass.
Oh, that's another show I'd have to say. Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty I have.
Adventure Time.
I like.
Regular Show.
Dude, you want to know what memories I have of with Adventure Time and Regular Show, why I love those shows so much? Because I was an adult by the time they started coming out.
I was 12 when Adventure Time came out.
When my oldest son, when my son was a baby, we used to watch those shows together, and we he loved the shit out of Adventure Time and Regular Show, and so we would watch that. Steven Universe.
Yeah, I was just about to say that one too. Love Steven
There was another one that was on at the time.
Oh, Gravity Falls as well was one for me.
I never watched Gravity Falls.
It's good. It's on Disney Plus.
I never watched Disney shows. Never really cared for Famous Jet Jackson. That was fucking dope. Did you ever watch that?
Mm-mm.
It was like basically he played. It was a show about a kid who played a character, like a spy character in like this spy show or whatever, and then it was just like about him. So like he would film it, but then sometimes they would show the sequences with him, and they did a Disney Channel movie where like something happened and his character came out of the fantasy world and blah blah blah. It was a really cool show. I liked it. Me, Wes, and Mark used to fuck with that show heavy. The dude who played Cyborg in Smallville was that character.
Oh, cool.
He was the main actor.
That's what's up.
Rip. He died a couple years back.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He I guess he was in a dark place, man, because he did it himself. So it sucks, man. It sucks. Like, for real, I don't know if this is gonna reach anyone, but if anyone's listening to this, real shit, because I think both of us have kind of dealt with that shit in the past. Just reach out to someone. I promise you, someone wants that phone call from you. That shit sucks. But yeah, so that was the dude who did it. And that's why, like, you know how there was a petition for Tom Welling to be, a lot of fans of Smallville wanted to see dude play Cyborg. And they were petitioning for that while there were movies. And then once he died, that's why they weren't petitioning for it for Justice League.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it was fucking tragic, but yeah, that's what happened. But that was the main actor in it. And then I'm trying to think of. I wasn't really a huge fan of anything, dude.
Thundercats, old and new.
Thundercats,
but not the new, but old and new.
No. The one that there was like a 2000 around 2010 or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was a 2010s era,
dude.
Thundercats, where it was anime.
It was so
fucking good. It was on Cartoon Network.
It was beautiful.
Scooby-Doo, I'd say. I love Scooby-Doo. Doesn't matter which version. I just really love
Scooby-Doo's
Scooby-Doo.
okay.
It's a classic.
I don't like the newer ones. I like the old
I haven't seen
ones.
any of the newer ones. I love the one from the 60s.
Yeah,
I love that one.
Yeah. It used to come on.
We were talking about this earlier. The one that came out a few years ago that was like really mysterious and like kind of dark.
Yeah.
That one was really good too.
How could I forget Captain Motherfucking Planet?
See, that is before me.
Planet, he's our hero.
Gonna take
Sailor Moon
down to
So
zero.
Sailor Moon, I specifically have like some really good memories with. Tuxedo Mask, that's my main man right there. Tuxedo Mask all day long. Because when I moved to Italy when I was a kid, there was nothing on TV to watch that I was allowed to watch, because most of their TV, like at any point in time, it's just titties everywhere. It's fucking beautiful. And as a 5-year-old boy, I was like, I want to watch more fucking Italian TV. But the only thing I could watch was Sailor Moon. And it was the Italian dub version. And so I remember towards the end of being there, like really understanding it. But at first I was just watching it because it was fucking awesome. And like, yeah, I really, really like Sailor Moon. I have some really fond memories with Sailor Moon.
Dragon Ball Z for me as well. I don't remember a lot of the story of Dragon Ball, and it's kind of like
forgettable.
A lot of the lore is lost on me. But I do remember waking up and watching it. Young Justice is one that I also remember fondly. And after Young Justice,
OG Justice League,
League, and Unlimited,
and the Amazing Spider-Man, and the
X-Men.
90s Batman.
X-Men, 90s Batman, and Superman. I like the Superman animated series.
That X-Men.
Batman Beyond.
Dude, it was so good. The X-Men series, Batman Beyond, was really good. I really just liked
all the Batman
Batman
animated shows were all pretty good.
Yeah,
Batman Brave and the Bold, even though that one was a bit more campy, that one was still pretty good. It did a lot of cool, interesting things.
The way I looked at that, it was like Clone Wars. Not
the movie.
No.
But that goddamn show.
Talking about the cartoon one that they did like 5 to 10 years earlier, right?
Yeah, the one in 2003. But then, of course, also the one.
I don't have any memories with that. I
do, because I saw the movie in theaters. Didn't really remember it too much as a kid. And then the show came out and I watched every single episode the night it aired. I remember watching the premiere of Clone Wars, the TV show, and that's where I first was introduced to the man himself, Dave Filoni, because there was a carpet event.
Yeah.
And it was him and George Lucas and the voice actors, and they were all going
George Lucas produced the movie,
he still owned Star Wars at the time. Because on Cartoon Network is what they did the show on, because this was before Disney bought them. Because it was like 2008 when the movie came out. The show came out not too long after. Because so the movie was supposed to be the first few episodes of the show. They condensed it and put it into one movie instead.
Yeah.
But the movie is still not good. Even if they had done it as episodes, it wasn't going to be good. That was just not a good plot line. Fun fact about this. Oh, yeah. When Maul comes back, it just immediately gets so much better. Same thing with Rebels. But fun thing about Clone Wars is that the episodes aren't really in order. There's people online who have dissected them to where they know the exact order chronologically of where they take place, and you can watch them in a chronological order if you wish.
No shit.
Yeah, none of those episodes are
That's
really...
kind of crazy.
Some of them, like the big story arcs, of course, are in order. But other than that, they're not all in order all the time.
Okay. So I want to touch on a show that I have negative emotions towards, that I fucking hated as a child. That is Friends. I fucking hated Friends with a passion.
You know, one show that I don't watch, and I don't think I'll ever watch ever, but I do remember seeing on TV a lot because I'd stay up late. Yeah.
What's that?
George Lopez show.
Dude, George Lopez show was so... Oh, okay. So hold on. You know how I said the only two acceptable sitcoms are
That 70 Show and Fresh Prince?
George Lopez show is also up there.
I forgot how funny it was.
So good.
Because
George Lopez is fucking
I'd stay on the
hilarious.
TV. I'd stay up really late, and the TV Nick at Night was always on by that time, and that was the thing that was always on. It was always George Lopez.
What was the... George Lopez caught some shit for a joke he did recently, and I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. We'll have to look it up after this. But George Lopez is... his comedy is very old school. Like, he came out with a special not too long ago, and that got like a lot of heat from people, just like the Dave Chappelle shit did, because it wasn't woke enough. And I was like, do you not remember what the fuck these dudes said? Like, do you remember the George Lopez getting his ass beat in public bit that he did?
No.
Oh, dude,
I never watched George Lopez stand up.
So good. Everyone needs to go watch that clip. Oh, you've never watched George Lopez stand up?
No, because...
Have you ever watched Robin Williams stand up?
Yes.
Okay.
But growing up, I didn't know George Lopez was a comedian. I just knew he had his show. So I didn't know he was a comedian. Okay. So I never thought...
He got his sitcom because of that. See, back in the day, a successful comedian got a sitcom.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, like,
Robin Williams had Mork and Mindy.
Yeah. And then he just elevated to a different level in the zeitgeist.
Oh, God. Robin Williams.
Rip. Yeah, it sucks. Again, another one, dude. Like, yeah. But let's not end on something super depressing.
Recent show. Witcher. Because
I
watched it.
The Witcher's really good.
Rewatched it again with you, and then we rewatched it again. Not even like time in between. It was right fucking after. And I still honestly am really tempted to go back and rewatch it again.
You want to go watch The Witcher? No. We should go watch Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, you've never seen Blade Runner.
I've never seen Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner first. It's like an hour, and it's almost 2 hours, I think.
But on that,
good movie.
We're going to part ways, you guys. Thank you very much for supporting us. If you're listening to this, you're probably a patron.
Yeah. And if you are listening to this, good fucking job for making it this far.
Yeah, thank you. We went through some depressing shit, some funny shit. Talked about orc
weird
sex.
Shit. Yeah, orc sex.
German porn.
German porn is orc sex. They're the same.
Kind of. Yeah.
We're just going to say that.
Yeah.
It might not even be true.
It's actually probably way truer than... I've seen German porn, so yeah.
Gross.
It's fucking weird. Dude, the internet was a dark place back in the day.
Oh, that reminded me. Another fun childhood show. Chowder.
Chowder was the show. Dude, Chowder was so goddamn good.
Flapjack.
The Misadventures of Flapjack.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Dude, those
Danny
shows.
Phantom, Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob, of course.
Old SpongeBob was really, really good.
Yeah. New SpongeBob was kind of weird. I saw an episode they were
New SpongeBob
learning how to do their taxes. That's not a joke. That was an actual thing. And I'm like, why?
Huh.
Why?
See, old SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs would have been dodging the IRS.
What about that old Mario show? The old Mario Bros show.
Dude, that old Mario show was so fucked
terrible.
up.
What about the 80s Zelda cartoon?
Princess Zelda, you need to not worry. I'm going to go ahead and get my board and we're going to shred shit, dude.
Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah. No, okay. So my fondest memories definitely come from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, I know we said this was end, but I just keep thinking of
Yeah. Okay, so we're really going to end here. Power Rangers.
We'll end on Power Rangers.
We're going to go with a different topic because I know what we're doing next free balling. I have one of my topics now. It's definitely going to be a Power Rangers topic.
Word.
Is
it which one's the best?
Mark?
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
No spoilers.
Anyways, again, if you're hearing this, you're probably a patron. Thank you very much for your support. We really want to try to keep doing this, and that support definitely helps it out. You can reach me on Twitter, Instagram. I stream sometimes on Twitch when I'm not feeling lazy. Honestly, is what that comes down to. I don't have a real schedule. And everything's at GamesTechMM. Bruno doesn't plug his shit because he's a bitch, but I tag him in a lot of shit. So you can send him your dick pics via DM if you are 18 years or older.
I don't want it. I don't. I'll
don't
block
want
you.
it. He use an alt account. Anyways, we have a couple videos up on YouTube. We have a Battlefront 2.
Yeah, that one was just posted yesterday.
The 2005 game, or is it 4?
Or
2004.
By the time you're hearing this, it won't be yesterday.
No,
2005.
No. Yeah, we have a Champions Let's Play. We do a nerd-oriented podcast where we touch on some of the news, but it's not really news-oriented, so not another one of those shows. Just kind of what this is, but we stay on nerd topics and we stay on like topical things that happen that week typically, as well as going over some news. That is called Multitap. You can get that every Thursday. Of course, since you're a patron, at least at the $2 tier, I think you get it 2 days early. It's the $2 tier, I think.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
And then
You should probably
other than
know
that, yeah, dude, I don't.
It's late.
You expect
We're
my
tired.
memory to... I don't ever remember. Like, I literally just plug shit to kind of be like, hey, if you support, like, thank you. But if not, like, enjoy the content, you guys. So I don't really know where we make what. Anyways, you guys, thank you very much for listening.